Before we begin the story, let us know where you're watching from by leaving a comment below. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the story, everyone. Clara pushed the dressing room door open with her hip, arms full of folders, a cup of coffee, and her ID badge hanging from one ear. Hey Liam, they left the revised scripts at the front desk. She froze, literally froze, as if time itself had paused to witness the same scene she was seeing. Liam, the heartthrob of the new soap opera Blazing Souls, standing in the middle of the dressing room, holding his best friend by the waist with both hands, staring into his eyes, their faces so close, they looked like they were about to kiss. Clara blinked once, twice. The coffee began to drip through her fingers, but her brain was still processing what she saw in slow motion. Her eyes widened. She whispered, "Oh, dear Lord." She took a tiny step backward, as gracefully as a hippo in high heels, hit her knee on the makeup counter, dropped a brush to the floor, and nobody in that room heard a thing. They're totally into it. Is this rehearsal? A scene? No, this is. She turned around, tripped over her own foot, nearly hit the wall face first, and ducked behind the divider like a ninja with messy hair. I didn't see anything. Nothing. Zero. It's gone from my memory. My brain erased it by itself, she whispered to herself, eyes wide. Breathing heavily, she slipped out into the hallway as fast as she could with dignity, which in Clara's case was basically no dignity at all, and collapsed onto the couch in the reception area. Liam is gay. Her mind was screaming like sirens and neon lights. That explains everything. The lack of chemistry with the lead actress. The kiss scenes that feel like two distant cousins trying to act out Romeo and Juliet at a family reunion. My goodness, it all makes perfect sense. Clara didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or search for a therapist on Google. But before she could make a decision, a voice yelled from the end of the hallway. Clara. Director's office. Now. She jumped off the couch like the backrest had zapped her. On my way, she replied, fixing her hair, trying to look professional and not like someone who had just uncovered the biggest secret of the decade. When she got to the director's office, she ran straight into Mr. Thompson, bald, always in a rush, and constantly smelling of cigarettes and stress. He didn't even look at her, just pointed to a clipboard. Starting today, you're Liam's new personal assistant. Clara froze. Excuse me? You heard me. His assistant, full-time filming, rehearsal, wardrobe, coffee, schedule, morning moods, and especially keeping him out of trouble. Understood, sir? With all due respect, me? Is that a problem? Yes. Several. She thought. No, sir, of course not. Everything's perfectly fine. Smooth as a baby alpaca, she said, laughing nervously. Good. He's a top priority for the network now. Take care of him. But if he loses it, I'm blaming you. Now get out. I've got 3 writers in crisis, and a director who wants to shoot a kissing scene in the rain with lightning. Clara left the office like someone who'd just been hired to take care of a tiger with PMS. Liam, the most handsome actor on television, and gay. And now my boss. She walked back to the studio, repeating a mantra in her head. Professional. Keep your distance. No judgment. Don't stare at the pretty man who kisses other men in secret backstage. When she entered the production room, she saw Liam sitting on the couch, scrolling on his phone, looking like he had just eaten a whole box of expired chocolates. Hey Clara, right? He said, looking up. She smiled, pretending she didn't know a thing. That's right. I'm your personal assistant. Wow. So, it's you. Good to know. Have a seat, he said, pointing to the chair next to him. Clara sat down, crossed her legs, uncrossed, crossed the other way, dropped her purse, picked it up, smiled, stayed quiet. She was sweating in places she didn't even know could sweat. Liam showed her his phone screen. It was full of comments. That kiss was drier than the Nevada desert. Zero chemistry. Worst romantic scene of the year. Can someone teach Liam how to kiss like a human being? He sighed. The internet loves me. Clearly. Clara let out a nervous little laugh. They just want to see you do better. It's like a slap disguised as encouragement. He tossed the phone onto the couch. The truth is, I'm terrible in romantic scenes. I try, but I don't know. I freeze. It all feels fake. Clara, on an impulse her brain didn't have time to stop, blurted out, if you want help, I could. You know, practice with you. Rehearse scenes, techniques, things like that. Liam's eyes widened. You want to teach me how to kiss? No, I mean, Yes, but not really. Like a scene, technique. I did theater in high school, and I've watched every romantic movie on Netflix, even the bad ones. I can be your practice partner. That's all. Just friendly. No hidden agenda. Just practice. Technical, like sports training. She was sweating more than a bus window on a rainy day. Liam hesitated, then gave a small smile. You're different. Thanks. I think, all right, let's try it. A rehearsal. Clara froze. A rehearsal with the most handsome gay man in America. No problem. I can handle this. This is going to be easy. Totally. Little did she know that this rehearsal was about to become the most chaotic real-life script she'd ever seen. The next morning, Clara showed up at the studio carrying a giant folder, 3 acting books she borrowed from the library, and a notepad full of notes she'd written after watching romantic movies until 3 a.m. Good morning, future irresistible leading man, she called out as she burst into Liam's dressing room like an organizational whirlwind. Liam nearly choked on his coffee. You brought study materials. Of course. Look at this, Clara said, spreading the books on the table. Romantic acting techniques, the Stanislavski method for love scenes, and how to kiss on screen. An actor's manual. I found the last one in a used bookstore, but it seems legit. Liam picked up the book and read the cover, looking horrified. Clara, this is from 1987. Look at the couple on the cover. They look like they're in a dentist's office. Details. What matters is the technique, she said, clapping her hands. Let's start with the basics. First exercise. The romantic gaze. Seriously, dead serious. Sit on the couch and look at me like I'm the love of your life. Liam sat on the couch, trying not to laugh at Clara's scientific-level determination. Like this? He asked, forcing a face that looked more like stomach cramps than passionate longing. Clara winced. Oh dear, you look like you ate bad chili. Try again, but this time imagine I'm, I don't know, the last slice of pizza in the fridge when you're starving. You want me to look at you like your pizza? It's a metaphor. Désir. Liam. Désir. He tried again. This time his expression was less tragic. Better. Now, next step, said Clara, checking her notes. Gradual approach. You're going to walk toward me slowly. Like you're hypnotized by my stunning beauty. Stunning beauty? Pretend it's acting, dear. You don't have to actually believe it. I bet when you rehearse with your boyfriend, you don't go through all this extra stuff, right? Liam choked again. My what? Relax. I'm not judging. Love is love, Clara said, giving his shoulder a friendly pat. Now come over here and rehearse with me. No préjudice. Just pure technique. Liam stood up, still processing what she said, and walked toward her slowly. Clara stood in front of him, serious like a physics teacher explaining quantum theory. Now put your hands on my waist, gentle but firm, like I might break. But you don't want to let me go. He hesitated a second, then placed his hands on her waist. His touch was soft, but something strange happened. A jolt ran through his body like he'd touched a live wire. Clara kept talking, unaware of the effect. Perfect. Now take a deep breath and exhale slowly. Breathing is key. Leading men always breathe dramatically. Like this, she demonstrated, inhaling deeply and exhaling like she was in a yoga class for hopeless romantics. Liam tried to follow, but he was too distracted. His hands on her waist felt like they were on fire. Clara's sweet perfume was completely throwing off his focus. Liam, are you listening? Yes. Breathing. Dramatic. Now, let's practice the hand kiss. It's classic, elegant, and you guys love those refined gestures, right? He nearly passed out. Clara, take my hand and kiss it with style, like a European prince greeting a duchess. Liam took her hand, doing his best to stay composed, and gave her fingers a soft kiss. Clara smiled, clearly pleased. Beautiful. You've got potential. Your boyfriend must melt when you do that. I don't have now. Let's move on to the main exercise, Clara said, cutting him off as she checked her notes. Almost kiss. You're going to lean in, breathe together, make intense eye contact, but no real kiss. We're just practicing the romantic tension. Liam swallowed hard. Romantic tension. That's it. Come here. They stood face to face. Clara placed one hand on his chest, the other on his shoulder. Liam, slightly shaking, put one hand on her waist again, and the other on her face. Now look into my eyes like I'm the most important person in the universe, Clara whispered. Liam followed her lead, and suddenly, He wasn't pretending anymore. Clara's brown eyes were so close, he could see tiny golden flecks he'd never noticed before. His heart started racing. "Bring your face closer." "Slowly," she whispered. He leaned in until he could feel her breath on his skin. Clara kept giving technical instructions, but her voice was lower now. Huskier. "Now breathe with me. Like you're one person." They breathed in sync. The world around them disappeared. Liam felt the urge to close the last few inches between them. And oh my gosh, how cute. They both jumped away like they'd been shocked. Emily, the production assistant, was standing at the door, phone in hand, with a huge smile on her face. "Sorry to interrupt, but you two were so adorable. I couldn't help it. I recorded a bit. Can I post it on the show's behind-the-scenes Instagram?" Clara turned bright red. "No, Emily, delete it." "Why? Are you two really dating? Or just hooking up? Because the audience is going to go crazy over this video. We're not. It's not." Clara stammered, but Emily had already vanished down the hallway, probably adding romantic music and heart filters to the video. Liam stood frozen, still tasting the almost kiss on his lips. Clara looked at him in a panic. "Relax," she said, trying to laugh. "No one's going to believe we're actually together. You're gay. I'm just your assistant. At most, they'll think we're friends messing around." Liam nodded. But inside he was screaming, "I'm not gay. And now you're driving me crazy." 3 hours later, the video had 50,000 views on the network's Instagram. The comments were a tidal wave of excitement. "Oh my God, they're a real couple. The chemistry, it's better than the actual show. I'm obsessed." Clara and Liam. "When's the wedding?" Clara was locked in the bathroom, staring at the comments in total shock. Liam was in his dressing room, looking at his reflection, wondering how he could tell Clara he wasn't gay without her pushing him away. Out in the hallway, Emily shouted, "Guys, the video went viral. There's already bloggers coming up with theories about their relationship." Clara opened the bathroom door, looking desperate. "Emily, what do you mean viral?" "Sweetie, you two are now the most shipped couple on the internet. Congratulations." Liam showed up in the hallway, just as frantic. "What do we do now?" Clara stared at him. "Still trying to process it all. We pretend we're just friends and hope it blows over." Liam agreed, but inside he was thinking, friends. "After what I felt today, good luck with that, Clara." And while they tried to come up with a plan to contain the chaos, the video kept spreading across social media, turning them into the most unlikely romantic celebrities in the country. The next morning, Clara woke up to 47 missed calls, 280 WhatsApp messages, and a Facebook post from her mom. "My daughter is dating a famous actor. I always knew she had good taste. Mom, for heaven's sake." Clara groaned into the phone, still in her pajamas. "I'm not dating anyone. It was just a rehearsal." "Sure, sweetie, and I'm the Queen of England. I watched the video 15 times. You two were undressing each other with your eyes." Clara hung up and turned on the television. The morning show, Good Morning Los Angeles, was playing the video of her and Liam on a loop, with the host cheerfully commenting, "And here's Hollywood's sweetest new couple. Heartthrob Liam seems to have found love right under our noses with his new assistant, Clara. Sources close to the couple say they've been seen together often in the past few days." "What sources?" Clara yelled at the television. "I'm the source, and I didn't confirm anything." Her phone rang. It was Liam. "Clara, are you watching this?" "I am. And I'm freaking out. They're just making things up. Relax. I'm giving an interview this afternoon, and I'll clear everything up. I'll explain that we're just friends, work colleagues." Clara felt a strange sting in her chest when he said friends, but brushed it off. "Perfect. The sooner we shut this down, the better." 2 hours later, Clara was at the studio watching Liam give a live interview on Entertainment Tonight. The reporter, overly tan and with way too white teeth, was asking questions with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. "So Liam, everyone wants to know, are you and Clara dating?" Liam gave a polite smile. "Clara is an amazing professional and a very dear friend. There's nothing romantic going on between us. The video that leaked was just a rehearsal to help improve my performance in the show's romantic scenes." Clara nodded from the production room, fully approving. "But you two looked very close in the video," the reporter insisted. "It's acting. Clara is helping me become a better actor. That's all." The reporter didn't give up. "And what about the rumors about your sexual orientation?" Some fans are speculating that you— Liam quickly interrupted. My personal life is private. I'd rather not comment on that. Clara frowned. He didn't deny it. Of course, he didn't. Poor guy. It must be awful having to hide who you really are just because you work in Hollywood. After the interview, Clara found Liam in the dressing room, clearly tense. Great interview, she said, trying to sound cheerful. I think you managed to clear everything up. You really think so? Of course. You made it clear we're just colleagues, and that you, well, have your personal reasons for not talking about relationships. Liam looked at her, puzzled. My personal reasons? Relax. I get it. It must be tough. But someday, you won't have to hide who you really are anymore. Liam looked even more confused, but before he could ask anything, Clara was already checking the schedule. Speaking of which, you've got a romantic scene to film with Sophia tomorrow. Want to rehearse a bit more just to make sure it comes out perfect? Liam's eyes lit up. That would be great. Thanks, Clara. She smiled. That's what I'm here for. Shall we head to our little practice room? They walked over to the small space they had turned into their romance lab. Clara had decorated it with some fake candles for safety, soft romantic music playing in the background, and even hung some Christmas lights she found in the supply closet. Wow, you redecorated, Liam said, impressed. Setting the mood is key. Now sit here on the couch and tell me what tomorrow's scene is about. Liam sat down, trying to stay focused on the scene and not on how beautiful Clara looked in the soft glow of the lights. It's a scene where I realize I'm in love with Sophia's character. I have to confess my feelings spontaneously, then kiss her. Spontaneous confession. Got it, Clara said, picking up her notepad. Let's practice. I'll play Sophia. First, the confession. Now, pretend you just realized you're madly in love with me. I mean, with Sophia, me acting as her. You know what I mean? Liam took a deep breath. This was his chance to say everything he was feeling, even if it was just a rehearsal. Clara, I mean Sophia. Just speak naturally. Let it come from the heart. Liam looked into her eyes. I spent so much time pretending what I felt wasn't real, trying to convince myself it was just work. But it's not. When I look at you, everything makes sense. You make me want to be a better person. You make me feel things I never thought I could feel. Clara stayed quiet, caught in the intensity of his voice. I know it's crazy, Liam went on, moving closer. I know we're very different, but I can't keep pretending I'm not completely in love with you. Clara's heart was racing. His acting felt too real. Liam, and I know you probably don't feel the same, he said, getting even closer. But I had to tell you. Clara was speechless. The confession felt so real. For a moment, she forgot it was only practice. Now, the kiss. Liam whispered. Clara nodded. A little dazed, they leaned in slowly. But this time, when their lips met, it wasn't a technical or hesitant kiss. It was real, soft, yet intense, gentle yet full of passion. Clara felt the world spin. A strange and wonderful sensation swept through her whole body. It was like 1,000 butterflies started dancing in her stomach. She had never felt anything like it. When they pulled apart, they stared at each other in silence. That was— She began. Intense. Liam finished. Very good for the scene. I mean, it's going to be perfect on camera. Liam nodded, but he was holding back the urge to admit it hadn't been acting. Clara eyed her watch. Oh, wow. What time is it? She interrupted, checking her watch. It's getting late. We should go. You've got that meeting with the director, remember? Yeah, you're right. They both stood up. A little awkwardly, Clara quickly gathered her things, trying not to look directly at Liam. So, see you tomorrow on set. I'm sure everything will go great. Clara? Bye, Liam. She ran out of the room like she was escaping a fire. Liam stood there alone, running a hand through his hair. She felt something, he whispered to himself. I'm sure she did. Outside, Clara was leaning against the hallway wall, trying to make sense of what had just happened. It was just a rehearsal kiss. Just technique. He's gay, Clara. Gay. It didn't mean anything to him. You're the one freaking out. But even as she tried to reason with herself, she couldn't shake the feeling of his lips on hers, or the way his heart was racing when she placed her hand on his chest, or how his eyes sparkled when he said those words. Wait a second. What if? She shook her head hard. Stop it, Clara. You saw him almost kiss another man with your own eyes. Don't start imagining things just because he's an amazing actor. Meanwhile, online, speculation about their relationship kept growing. Gossip blogs had started using the hashtag #LiamForever. Fans were coming up with wild theories about every photo of the two of them together, and one Twitter account even posted, "I'll bet $1,000 they'll make it official by the end of the month." The next morning, Clara arrived on set determined to keep things professional, but when she saw Liam rehearsing the same scene with Sophia that they had practiced the night before, she felt a strange little pang of jealousy. "This is ridiculous," she thought. "Why am I jealous? He's not even into women." But when Sophia ran her fingers through Liam's hair in exactly the same way Clara had done during rehearsal, Clara had the urge to shout, "Hey, that was my idea." Liam, for his part, was trying to do his best in the scene, but he couldn't stop comparing it to the rehearsal with Clara. The kiss with Sophia felt stiff, lifeless, nothing like the spark he had felt the night before. During the break, Clara walked over with 2 bottles of water. "How was it?" "Good. Normal." Liam lied. "Sophia's a great actress. You two have chemistry. Not as much as I have with you," Liam thought. But he said, "Yeah. She's professional." Clara nodded, trying to ignore the wave of relief she felt at his lukewarm reply. "Well, I'm going to take care of some schedule stuff. Let me know if you need anything." She turned to leave, but Liam called after her. "Clara, could we maybe rehearse more tonight for the next scene?" Clara turned, surprised. "Sure, if you think you need to." "I do," he said. And this time he wasn't just talking about acting. As Clara walked away, Liam smiled. Maybe there was a chance she was feeling just as confused as he was. And maybe, just maybe, that kiss had been as real for her as it was for him. Now he just had to figure out how to tell Clara he wasn't gay without ruining their friendship in the process. 3 weeks later, Clara was on the couch in her little studio apartment in Burbank, eating popcorn straight from the pot and watching the Golden Screen Awards on streaming. Liam had been nominated for Best Actor in a television drama, and she was nervously rooting for him, like she was the one up for the prize. "Please win. Please win. You deserve it after all the work you've put in," she thought, fingers crossed. On television, the presenter opened the golden envelope, and the winner is Liam for Hearts on Fire. Clara jumped off the couch, cheering and tossing popcorn in the air like she just won the lottery. "He did it. I knew it." At the ceremony, Liam walked on stage, visibly moved, holding the golden trophy, and stepped up to the microphone. The audience was silent, waiting for his speech. "First, I want to thank the producers, the amazing cast," he began, going through the usual list of thank yous. Clara was biting her nails, anxious, but most of all, Liam continued, looking straight into the camera, "I want to dedicate this award to the person who completely changed my career and my life, Clara, my assistant, and the best acting coach I've ever had. Without her, I never would have found the truth in my characters. Clara, if you're watching, this award is ours." Clara dropped the entire pot of popcorn on the floor. "He said my name on television, national television." She screamed to the walls of her apartment, dancing around her kitchen table. Her phone started ringing non-stop. First her mom, then 3 cousins, then her neighbor, then people she didn't even know had her number. "Clara, sweetheart, you're on television. Everyone's talking about you." Her mom yelled on the phone, "Mom, he just thanked me. He dedicated a national award to you. That's practically a marriage proposal." Clara laughed, still in shock. "Mom, come on, we're just co-workers." But when she hung up the phone and checked social media, she nearly fainted. Her Instagram had jumped from 500 followers to 15,000 inches, just 2 hours. Twitter was blowing up with the hashtag #ClaraLiam, and on TikTok, people were posting videos analyzing every word of Liam's speech. The next morning, Clara arrived at the studio and was welcomed like a celebrity. People who had never spoken to her before came up to say hi, take selfies, and ask about her revolutionary coaching method for actors. "Clara!" Emily shouted, running down the hallway. "You're a meme now. There's a video on TikTok of you dancing with popcorn that already has 2 million views. What do you mean I'm a meme? Someone filmed you celebrating last night through your apartment window. You were dancing by yourself in the living room. It's the cutest thing ever." Clara panicked. "Guys, you can't just film people's private lives like that. Relax. Everyone's in love with you. Look at this." Emily held up her phone. 1.5 million views. Just then, Liam showed up in the hallway holding a gold trophy and a huge bouquet of flowers. "Clara, I finally found you." She turned red instantly. "Liam, congratulations. You really deserved it." "Thanks. And these are for you," he said, handing her the flowers. For everything you did for me." People around them started whispering and snapping pictures. Clara tried to play it cool. "You didn't have to." "Of course I did. You changed my career, Clara." "I meant what I said yesterday." Before Clara could answer, the director's assistant came rushing in. "Clara, there's a phone call for you. It's urgent." "For me? Who is it?" "Stephen Carter." Clara froze. Emily dropped her phone. Even Liam's eyes went wide. Stephen Carter was one of the most respected directors in Hollywood. He directed 3 Oscar-nominated films and the most awarded drama series on Netflix. "It must be a prank," Clara whispered. "He's on the line," the assistant insisted. Clara walked to the office on shaky legs. She picked up the phone like it was about to explode. "Hello, Clara Evans. This is Stephen Carter. I have a proposal for you." The voice was deep, serious, definitely real. "Mr. Carter." "Hi, I saw your work with Liam. Very impressive. His transformation was remarkable. I'm developing a new series for HBO called Manhattan Hearts, and I need a lead actress who comes across naturally and has real chemistry. I'd like you to audition." Clara nearly fainted. "An audition to act?" "That's right. Are you interested?" "Yes, of course. But Mr. Carter, I'm not an actress. I'm just an assistant." "Clara, I've been in this industry for 20 years. I know natural talent when I see it. And from what I've seen in those videos going around, you've got something special. The audition is tomorrow at 2 p.m. at the Warner Studios. Can you be there?" "Yes." "Wow. Thank you. Great. Oh, and Clara, come prepared. The role is opposite Liam. You two would play a couple on the show." Clara almost choked. "A couple? Romantically?" "That's right. See you tomorrow." He hung up. Clara stood there holding the phone, completely stunned. "Stephen Carter wants me to audition for an HBO show opposite Liam as a romantic couple." She stumbled out of the office. Liam was waiting in the hallway, anxious. "Well, who was it?" "Stephen Carter wants me to audition to be your love interest in a new HBO series." Liam's eyes widened. "Seriously? I think I'm going to pass out." "Easy. Breathe. Clara, this is amazing." "Amazing?" "Liam, I've never acted professionally in my life. My only experience was playing a tree in my school's Christmas play, and I still forgot my line." "Clara, you're a natural. You've got talent, and we already have chemistry." She looked at him. "Acting chemistry, you mean?" "Yeah, of course. Acting." The next afternoon, Clara arrived at Warner Studios, shaking like a leaf. She'd spent the whole night watching acting videos on YouTube and practicing in front of the mirror. Stephen Carter was exactly how she pictured him. Gray hair, stylish glasses, a serious but kind expression. "Clara, thanks for coming. Shall we begin?" "Sure. Yes, sir." "Relax. I'm going to give you a scene to read. It's a conversation between Lily, your character, and Ethan, Liam's character. Lily has just realized she's in love with Ethan, but she doesn't think he'll ever feel the same." Clara took the script with trembling hands. "Can I read it first?" "Of course. Take 5 minutes." She read through it quickly. Lily was pouring her heart out, vulnerable and desperate. It felt like something Clara had lived herself. "Ready?" Stephen asked. Clara took a deep breath. "Ready. Action." Clara changed in an instant. She was no longer the nervous assistant. She was Lily, a woman in love and full of courage. "Ethan, I know you probably think I'm crazy," she began, her voice shaking with emotion. "But I can't keep pretending that what I feel for you is just friendship. Every time you smile at me, my heart races. Every time you touch me, even by accident, I feel a spark. And I know you probably don't feel the same. But I had to say it, because if I keep this inside for one more day, I'm going to explode." She stopped, breathing heavily. Stephen was silent, watching. "Go on," he said gently. "And if you don't feel the same, that's okay. We can still be friends. But please don't look at me with pity. Don't pretend you didn't hear me. Just be honest, even if it means breaking my heart." Clara finished with real tears in her eyes. She had poured so much of herself into that performance that for a moment she forgot it was just an audition. Stephen stayed quiet for a few seconds. Then he started clapping slowly. "Incredible. Was it good?" "Clara, in 20 years of directing, I've rarely seen someone bring that much truth into a scene. You weren't acting. You were feeling." Clara blushed. "Thank you, Mr. Carter." "No need to thank me. I should be thanking you. The role is yours." Clara nearly fell off her chair. "Excuse me? You're our new lead." Welcome to Manhattan Hearts. Clara couldn't even form a sentence. We'll announce it officially tomorrow. You and Liam will be the lead couple on the show. I hope you're ready. Your life is about to change completely. Clara floated out of the studio. She called Liam immediately. Liam, I got the part. I knew you would. Congratulations, Clara. We're going to be working together as a couple on television. It's going to be amazing, Liam said. But deep down, he was thinking, this is either going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me or the most complicated. The next day, the news was everywhere. Assistant turned star Clara Evans to lead new HBO series. From assistant to actress, Clara Evans's inspiring story, Liam and Clara Evans, TV's most anticipated couple. Clara woke up to hundreds of messages on her phone. Reporters wanted interviews. Agents were offering to represent her. Brands were pitching partnerships. Her life had completely changed in less than 24 hours. And as she read through the excited comments from future fans of the show, one question kept echoing in her mind. How am I supposed to pretend to be in love with Liam on screen when I'm starting to wonder if I even have to pretend? But that was a question for another day. For now, Clara, Hollywood's newest rising star, had a whole career ahead of her, and a co-star who was getting harder and harder to resist. 2 weeks later, Clara was sitting in the passenger seat of Liam's car as they drove to Portland, where they'd filmed the first scenes of Manhattan Hearts. The West Coast scenery rolled by outside the window while she read through the script for the 15th time. Clara, you're going to wear out the paper, Liam said, laughing. I'm nervous. What if I forget my lines? What if I trip? What if I do something embarrassing in front of the whole crew? You're going to be amazing. Just relax. Clara glanced sideways at him. Liam was driving with an annoyingly calm expression, one hand on the wheel, the other resting on the window, looking like a men's cologne ad. How can you be so calm? We're about to act like we're madly in love. It's just acting, he said. Though his hands gripped the steering wheel a little tighter, of course, acting. Clara agreed quickly. No big deal. Just two friends pretending to be madly in love in front of cameras and millions of people. Liam nearly swerved off the road. When they arrived in Portland, they checked into the hotel arranged by the production team. Clara was amazed by how luxurious it was. A hot tub, a river view, a stocked minibar, and even monogrammed bathrobes with the show's logo. This is unreal, she whispered, falling back onto the king-sized bed. The next day, filming began. The first scene was fairly simple. Lily and Ethan meeting casually in a coffee shop. But as the days went on, the scenes became increasingly intimate. On Monday, they filmed the first official date scene. Clara was nervous, but once the cameras rolled, something magical happened. She completely transformed into Lily, and the chemistry between them was undeniable. Cut. Perfect. Stephen Carter shouted, "You two are gold together." On Tuesday, they filmed the couple's first argument. Clara was surprised by how intense Liam's performance was. When he shouted, "I can't pretend I don't care about you anymore," his eyes lit up in a way that made her heart race. "Wow, Liam," Clara said during the break. "That felt really real. I almost believed you were actually mad at me." Liam looked away. "Yeah. Method acting." On Wednesday, they filmed the scene Clara had been dreading the most. The couple's first romantic kiss. They rehearsed it 3 times before shooting, and each time Clara felt butterflies stronger and stronger. "Action!" Stephen yelled. Lily and Ethan were arguing in the rain, artificially created by the set sprinklers. Suddenly, Ethan pulled Lily close and kissed her passionately. Clara melted. The kiss was so intense, she forgot where she was. Cut. Fantastic. One more for safety. They did the scene 5 times. With every kiss, Clara felt more confused. It didn't feel like acting. It felt too real. On Thursday, they filmed the most intimate scene so far. Lily and Ethan, almost sleeping together. Nothing explicit was shown, but the romantic tension was clear. Clara was lying against Liam's chest, feeling his heart pounding. "You okay?" she whispered, off script. "Perfectly fine," he replied. But his voice was hoarse. During the lunch break, Clara finally brought up what had been bothering her. "Liam, can I ask you something?" "Of course. Are you okay?" "In the scenes, you seem really emotionally involved, more than usual." Liam hesitated. "I just want to give my best to the show." "I know, but sometimes it doesn't feel like acting. It feels like you really mean what you're saying." Liam looked at her seriously. "What if I do?" Clara was speechless. Her heart skipped a beat. "Liam, Clara, I need to tell you something." Just then, a stunning blonde woman burst onto the set like a tornado in high heels and expensive perfume. Liam, darling. Clara turned to see a goddess, easily 6 feet tall, running toward them. The woman was wearing a red dress that probably cost more than Clara's yearly salary and had a toothpaste commercial kind of perfect smile. Isabella. Liam's eyes widened in panic. Isabella didn't wait for an explanation. She jumped into Liam's arms and kissed him on the mouth right there in front of the whole crew. Clara felt her whole world collapse. The kiss lasted about 5 never-ending seconds. When Isabella finally pulled back, she smiled brightly. I missed you, Bobbe. I came straight from Paris to see you. Clara stood frozen, watching the scene like a slow-motion car crash. Liam tried to gently pull away from Isabella. Isabella, what are you doing here? Well, I came to see my favorite ex-boyfriend. I heard you were filming a new series. How exciting. Ex-girlfriend. Ex-girlfriend. Clara's brain registered. Ex-girlfriend. A woman. He dated women too. Isabella finally noticed Clara. And you must be the new actress. So cute, she said in a condescending tone. Liam's always had a soft spot for charity cases. Clara felt her blood boil. Charity cases? Oh, sweetheart, everyone knows you were just his assistant until last week. It must be so exciting to act alongside a real professional like Liam. Liam quickly stepped in. Isabella, don't be rude. Clara's an amazing actress. Of course she is, darling. No offense, Isabella said, clearly not meaning it. Mind if I watch the shoot? I'm sure it'll be entertaining. Clara couldn't take it anymore. Without saying a word, she turned and marched off the set, leaving a trail of anger behind her. Clara, wait! Liam called after her, but she didn't stop. Isabella watched with a smug smile. Wow. Emotional. So typical of beginner actresses, they always take themselves way too seriously. Liam glared at her. Isabella, you need to leave now. But Liam, I came all this way. Now, Isabella. Meanwhile, Clara was locked in her dressing room, trying not to cry from a mix of rage and confusion. Is he even gay? He dated that supermodel. But I saw him almost kiss a man. I don't know anything anymore. What an idiot I am. She grabbed her phone and called Emily. Emily, I need to know everything about the Isabella who just showed up on set. Isabella Winters, the model. She and Liam dated for 2 years. They broke up last year. Why? She showed up and kissed him right in front of me. No way. The nerve. And what did he do? Nothing. Just stood there like a statue. Clara, are you jealous? Clara went silent. The question echoed in her mind like a bell. Jealous? Me? Of Liam? But he's... And now I'm... Emily, I think I'm in trouble. Why? Because I think I'm in love with my best friend. And now I don't know what to do. On the other end of the line, Emily screamed with excitement. I knew it. I knew you two would end up together. Clara hung up and dropped onto the couch in the dressing room. Her life was now more complicated than a soap opera. And the worst part? She still had to go back out there and pretend to be in love with Liam when now she wasn't sure she had to pretend. Great, Clara. Just great. The next morning, Clara arrived on set, 15 minutes late, wearing oversized sunglasses that covered half her face and giving off an energy that clearly said, "Please don't talk to me." She greeted the crew politely, grabbed her script, and sat in the seat farthest from where Liam was standing. "Good morning, Clara," Liam said, walking over carefully, like he was approaching a wild animal. "Good morning, Mr. Carter," she replied without looking up from her script. "Mr. Carter?" Liam frowned. Clara had never called him that. Not even on her first day at work. "Clara, about yesterday. Can I explain?" "There's nothing to explain," she said, flipping a page a little too forcefully. "Your personal life isn't my business. I'm just the assistant. I was. Now I'm just your coworker." The word just came out so cold it felt like a punch to Liam's stomach. "But Clara..." "Mr. Carter, I think we should keep things professional. We have important scenes to shoot today." Liam stood there, watching as Clara focused on the script like a brain surgeon. She had built an invisible but very real wall between them. All morning, Clara kept her distance. During breaks, she chatted happily with other actors, production assistants, even the guy who brought coffee, everyone except Liam. When they had to act together, she turned into Lily effortlessly, giving a flawless performance. But the second Stephen shouted, "Cut!" she became the cool, distant Clara again. "Clara, do you want to have lunch together?" Liam asked during the break. "Thanks, but I already have plans," she said, picking up a salad and sitting with the cinematographer and 2 costume designers. Liam ate alone, chewing his sandwich while watching Clara laugh at other people's jokes. People who weren't him. "Dude, you look like a lost puppy," said Noah, Liam's best friend, sitting next to him. "Isabella showed up yesterday and ruined everything." Liam mumbled. "The ex-demon? What did she want?" "To make trouble. Apparently, she kissed me right in front of Clara without even asking." Noah shook his head. "And Clara saw. She saw the whole thing. Now she's acting like I'm radioactive." "Did you tell her Isabella is completely out of her mind and that you broke up with her because she was jealous of your own shadow?" "She won't let me explain. Every time I try to talk, she either changes the subject or walks away." In the middle of the afternoon, Stephen announced they'd be filming the most complicated scene of the week, a sequence where Lily catches Ethan on the phone and climbs a fire escape to try to listen in. "Clara, you'll go up that staircase," Stephen explained, pointing to a 3-meter-high metal structure. "We want to show Lily's desperate to find out what Ethan is hiding." Clara looked at the stairs. They were taller than they seemed in the script, and some of the steps looked a bit rusty. "No problem," she said, trying to sound confident. "Are you sure?" "I can call the stunt double," Stephen offered. "No need. I can do it." Liam came closer, clearly concerned. "Clara, that staircase looks a little unstable. Maybe it's better if—" "Thanks for the concern, Mr. Carter, but I can take care of myself," she cut in, adjusting her mic with a tone that broke his heart. The first take went smoothly. Clara climbed up quickly, pretended to listen to the call, came down. "Perfect. One more time. But this time go up more slowly. Like Lily's anxious," Stephen said. "And Clara, try showing a little more intense curiosity when you reach the top." Second take. Clara started climbing again, more cautiously this time. She was almost at the top, stretching to show the expression Stephen wanted, when crack! One of the metal steps broke loose from the structure. Clara lost her balance and started falling backward. Everything happened in slow motion. She screamed. Her hands reached out for something to grab. The script flew through the air like confetti. Liam acted on pure instinct. He ran and jumped, managing to catch her fall. They both tumbled to the ground. But Clara landed on top of him instead of hitting the concrete floor directly. "Clara!" the whole crew shouted. Liam was on the floor, holding Clara, unconscious, in his arms. Her left arm was in an odd position, clearly injured, and there was a small cut on her forehead. "Call an ambulance now," Stephen shouted, already grabbing his phone. "Everyone, back up. Give her space to breathe." Liam ordered, still on the floor, checking to make sure Clara was breathing normally. The ambulance arrived in record time. Liam carefully stood up, picked Clara up in his arms, and carried her to the stretcher, refusing to let go, even when the paramedics said they could take her. "I'm going with her," he declared, stepping into the ambulance without waiting for permission. The entire way to the hospital, he held her right hand, whispering, "You're going to be okay, Clara. I'm right here. Everything's going to be okay." She regained consciousness in the ambulance, groggy, confused. "Liam, what? Oh, my arm. You fell down the stairs. We're on our way to the hospital." The stairs broke. One of the steps gave way. "You hit your head, too. But it doesn't look too serious." Clara tried to sit up, but a sharp pain made her gasp. "Don't move. Just stay still," Liam said, gently guiding her back down onto the stretcher. At the hospital, they found out Clara had fractured her wrist and sprained her shoulder. Nothing too serious, but her arm would be in a cast for 3 weeks. The cut on her forehead needed a few stitches. 3 weeks, Clara repeated, looking at the cast and carefully touching the bandage on her forehead. "How am I supposed to work?" "The production team will figure something out," Liam said, sitting in the chair beside the bed. "Stephen already called. They'll rearrange the scenes. What matters is that you get better." Clara looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since the incident with Isabella. He was pale, with streaks of dirt on his clothes from the fall. "Did you get hurt too?" "Just a few scratches. Nothing serious." "You saved me," she said quietly. "Anyone would have done the same." "No, they wouldn't. You threw yourself under me. You could have gotten badly hurt." Liam shrugged, like it was nothing. "You're important to me, Clara, even if you don't want to be my friend anymore." Clara felt a pang in her chest. Even after everything, even after she'd been cold to him all day, he had still risked himself to protect her. "Liam, you don't have to say anything," he interrupted, standing up. "I'll go get the nurse and see if you can be discharged." As he left the room, Clara sat quietly with her thoughts. Isabella might have been the most beautiful ex-girlfriend in the world, but in that moment of danger, It was Clara that Liam had protected without hesitation. That had to mean something, didn't it? After leaving the hospital, it was nearly midnight when Liam pulled the car into a small town in rural Oregon called Millfield. The GPS had led them there after Clara mentioned feeling sick and needing to stop and rest. "Are you sure you're okay?" Liam asked for the 15th time, watching Clara cradle her casted arm. "I'm okay. Just a little ditzy. Must be the meds they gave me at the hospital." They stopped in front of the only hotel in town with its light still on. The building looked frozen in time, with a flickering neon sign that read VA Annie. The G was missing. At the front desk, an older man, maybe in his 72nds, was dozing off behind the counter, glasses sliding down his nose, a folded newspaper on his chest. "Excuse me," Liam said, tapping the counter gently. The man startled awake. "Oh, visitors. What a surprise. I'm George, night manager. You looking for a room? 2 rooms, please," Liam and Clara said at the same time. George made a face and tapped on a computer that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 1990 seconds. "Well, there's a little problem. We only have 1 room left. There's a sewing convention in the next town. Folks all ended up here." Clara and Liam exchanged a glance. "Are you sure?" Clara asked. "Positive. But it's a big room. It's got a queen-sized bed and a sofa bed. Very comfortable." "Sofa bed?" Liam repeated. Doubtful. "Yes, sir. Vintage 1975. A true classic," Clara sighed. Between sleeping on a vintage sofa bed or driving another 2 hours with a throbbing arm, the choice was obvious. "We'll take it," she said. George smiled and handed them a heavy metal key with a giant pine tree-shaped keychain. "Room 237. 2nd floor. End of the hall. Elevator's been out since 2019, so you'll have to use the stairs." "Stairs?" Clara looked at her casted arm. "I'll carry you," Liam said like it was nothing. "You're not carrying me." "Of course I am. Come here." Before Clara could protest, Liam picked her up bridal style. She turned as red as a tomato. "Liam, put me down. I hurt my arm, not my legs." "Quiet. Stairs with a cast." "Not a good idea." George watched the scene with a smile. "How sweet. How long have you 2 been married?" "We're not," Clara began. 3 years, Liam lied, already heading up the stairs. She still gets shy. Clara shot him a glare. Room 237 was exactly what you'd expect from a hotel built in 1952 that had never been renovated. Faded floral wallpaper, a bulky old television, a bed that had clearly seen better days, and a sofa that was definitely not meant for sleeping. "Oh my," Clara murmured. Looking around, "Well, at least it's clean," Liam said. Always the optimist. Clara tested the sofa. It was hard as a rock and maybe 5 feet long. "Liam, there's no way you'll fit on this." "Sure, I will. I'm flexible." "You're 6'1". This thing is barely 5 feet. "Clara, your arm is hurt. I'm not letting you sleep on this thing. I'm the one who got hurt, so I get to decide where I sleep. Don't be stubborn. Take the bed." "I'm not taking the bed. You drove all day, took me to the hospital, practically saved my life. The bed is yours." "Clara." "Liam, I'm sleeping on this couch, and that's final," she said, flopping down onto it with as much dignity as she could manage. Liam rolled his eyes, grabbed a blanket from the closet, and tossed it over her. "You're impossible." "Thanks. Good night." At 2 a.m., Clara was still awake. The couch was uncomfortable. Her arm throbbed, and every time she tried to move, the cast hit either the wall or the sofa arm. "Clara?" Liam whispered in the dark. "Are you awake?" "No." She lied. "How are you talking if you're asleep? Lucid dreaming?" Liam chuckled softly. "Come over here. The bed's huge. We'll both fit." "No way." "Clara, you haven't slept. Your arm hurts. I can hear you tossing around. I'm perfectly comfortable here on my stone slab. For heaven's sake, woman. We're adults. We can share a bed without it being a thing." Clara thought about it. Her arm really was killing her, and the bed looked so much better than the torture device she was lying on. "Promise you'll stay on your side." "I promise, and you won't do anything weird while I'm sleeping." "Like what?" "I don't know. Men do strange things in their sleep. Snoring, kicking, talking. I don't do any of that." "Fine. But only because my arm is killing me." Clara got off the couch with some effort and climbed into bed, keeping as much space between them as possible. They lay there like 2 mummies, staring at the ceiling. "Thanks," she whispered. "You're welcome." Within minutes, Clara finally drifted off. Liam stayed awake a little longer. listening to her breathing, and trying not to think about how nice it felt to have her nearby. Around 5 a.m., Liam woke up to sunlight creeping in through the window. It took a few seconds for him to realize he was lying on his side with Clara curled up against his chest, her head resting on his shoulder. How did this happen? He thought, trying to remember if he'd moved during the night. Clara was sound asleep, a peaceful expression on her face. Liam let himself watch her for a few moments, thinking how beautiful she looked, even with messy hair and a bandage on her forehead. Without meaning to, he relaxed and dozed off again. At 7, Clara slowly woke up, feeling more rested than she had in weeks. She felt warm and comfortable, oddly so. That's when she realized she was practically lying on top of Liam. His right arm was around her waist, his leg was tangled with hers, and he was gently snoring right into her ear. "Liam!" she yelled, shoving him with her good arm. Liam, startled awake, lost his balance and rolled right off the bed, falling tangled in the sheets, landing on the floor with a thud. "Ow!" he groaned from the floor, wrapped up like a burrito. "What happened? You said you don't snore." "I don't snore. You were snoring like a hibernating bear, and you said you'd stay on your side of the bed." "I did. You're the one who crossed over to mine." Liam tried to untangle himself from the sheets, but only got more stuck. "Clara, help me out here. I'm trapped. You look like a giant spring roll," she said, laughing despite herself. "Very funny. Come and wrap me." Clara had to use her good arm to help him get free. Once they finally managed, they sat on the floor, out of breath. "Good morning to you too," Liam said, running a hand through his messy hair. "Sorry for yelling. I just woke up, and we were really close." "Yeah, I woke up like that too. I don't know how it happened." Clara blushed. "Well, we slept okay. I mean, I did. Me, too. Best night of sleep I've had in weeks." They got up from the floor, both avoiding eye contact. "I'm going to shower first," Clara said, grabbing her things. "And Liam." "Yes?" "Thank you for everything. For saving me. For bringing me to the hospital. For sharing the bed." "Clara, you don't have to thank me. That's what friends do." "Friends?" Clara thought, as she stepped into the bathroom. Why is that word starting to sound strange? Outside, Liam was wondering the same thing, especially after waking up with her in his arms. Friends didn't wake up like that. At least he never had with any of his friends. But that was a conversation for another time. For now, they had to get back to Portland and pretend that sharing a bed hadn't meant a thing, even though they both knew it had meant everything. On the drive back to Portland, Clara sat quietly in the passenger seat, staring out the window and trying to process everything that had happened in the past 24 hours. Her arm, now in a cast, rested in her lap, but her mind was racing, waking up next to Liam, the way I felt safe, the way he caught me yesterday, and Isabella kissing him. The puzzle pieces were shifting in her mind, creating a completely different picture than the one she had imagined over the past few months. "Liam," she said suddenly, breaking the silence. "Yes? Can I ask you something kind of direct?" Liam glanced at her quickly before focusing back on the road. "Of course. Ask me anything." Clara took a deep breath. It was now or never. "Are you gay?" Liam almost swerved off the road. The car jerked slightly before he got it under control. "What? You heard me. Are you gay?" Liam started laughing a loud, genuine, almost hysterical laugh. "Clara, what are you talking about? Why would I be gay?" "Because I saw you the first day I was assigned as your assistant. You were in the dressing room with Noah, and you two were really close. You looked like you were about to kiss." Liam laughed even harder. "Clara, are you serious?" "Completely serious. I saw it with my own eyes. And based on that, you thought I was gay." "Well, yeah. And then you never talked about girlfriends. You always avoided the topic when someone asked about your personal life. And your romantic scenes were terrible before I started coaching you." Liam stopped laughing, though he was still smiling. "Liam, pull over," she said suddenly. "What?" "Pull over right now." Liam obeyed, pulling onto the shoulder of the road. Clara turned in her seat to face him directly. "Explain everything now." Liam turned off the engine and faced her, still smiling. "Clara, I'm not gay. Not even a little. I'm probably the straightest guy you'll ever meet. But I saw you with Noah. Noah was helping me rehearse a scene. I was getting a lot of criticism for my romantic acting, and he was just giving me a few tips." Clara's eyes widened. "Seriously? Seriously? We were rehearsing the final scene kiss. Noah is an actor, too. But what about Isabella?" "Isabella is my ex-girlfriend." We were together for 2 years, and it was a terrible relationship. She's possessive, dramatic, and a bit unstable. That's why I avoid talking about my personal life to the media. I don't want to give her any reason to show up and make trouble." Clara stayed quiet for a moment, taking it all in. "So, you've always been straight?" "Always. And Clara, do you want to know why my romantic scenes were so bad before you came along?" "Why?" "Because I never felt real chemistry with any of my co-stars until you—" Clara's heart skipped a beat. "Liam, all those rehearsals we did—" "Clara, I wasn't acting, not for a second." Clara felt like the ground shifted beneath her. Everything she'd believed over the last few months was falling apart and coming together all at once. I need some air," she said, getting out of the car quickly. Liam followed her. "Clara, wait." She was pacing up and down the shoulder, running her free hand through her hair. "You're not gay. You've never been gay. I spent months thinking you were gay. I tried to tell you so many times, but you always interrupted me or changed the subject. I offered to help you learn how to kiss because I thought I was safe. I thought you'd never what?" Clara stopped pacing and looked straight at him. "That I'd never fall in love with you." The words came out before she could stop them. Liam froze, stunned. "You what?" Clara covered her face with her good hand. "I shouldn't have said that. Forget it. Forget everything. Let's just go back to the car." She tried to walk past him, but Liam gently held her by the arm, the one that wasn't in a cast. "No, we're not forgetting this. Say it again." "Liam, please." "Clara, say it." She took a deep breath, gathering courage. "I fell in love with you, okay? Even when I thought you were gay, even knowing it was impossible, I still fell for you. And when Isabella showed up, I was insanely jealous. And when you saved me yesterday, I realized that what? That I'm completely lost because now I find out you're not gay, that maybe there's a chance, and I don't know what to do with that." Liam took a step closer to her. "Clara, can I tell you a secret?" "What secret?" "I fell in love with you during our very first rehearsal, when you put your hand on my waist and told me to breathe like a leading man. Right then, I knew I was in trouble." Clara looked at him, stunned. "Seriously?" "Dead serious. And do you know why I kept finding excuses for us to rehearse more?" "Why?" "Because it was the only way I could be around you, without coming off like a stalker." Clara started laughing, surprised and a little nervous. "Liam, you're an idiot. I know. You let me believe you were gay for months. I tried to tell you. You could have been more direct." "How?" "Hi, Clara. I'm not gay and I'm in love with you." "Yes, exactly like that. And you would have believed me?" Clara paused to think. "Probably not." "See?" They stood there facing each other, smiling like two teenagers who just found out their feelings were mutual. "So, what now?" Clara asked. "Now," Liam stepped closer to her. "Now I do this." He put his hands on her face and kissed her. But this time, it wasn't for rehearsal. It wasn't for a scene. It was just for them. In that moment, Clara melted completely. It felt like every kiss before had only been practice for this one. When they finally pulled apart, they were both breathless. "Wow," she whispered. "Yeah, wow. So, are we going to give this a try?" Clara Evans. "I want more than just a try. I want to date you for real. I want to take you out to dinner, watch bad movies with you, wake up next to you without it being by accident." Clara smiled, feeling butterflies in her stomach, doing somersaults. "But what about work? The show? We'll figure it out. Actors date all the time, and if it doesn't work, it will." "How can you be so sure?" Liam smiled and kissed her forehead. "Because I spent months pretending to be in love with you on camera. Just imagine what I can do when it's real." Clara laughed, finally letting herself believe this was really happening. "Okay, but if you start snoring again, I'm kicking you out of bed. Deal. But if you start being stubborn again, I'm going to keep carrying you around." "Fair enough." Liam started the car and drove on, both of them wearing smiles that felt like they might never go away. The road to Portland had never seemed so short, and the future had never looked so full of promise. And for the first time in months, Clara wasn't pretending to be in love. She simply was. That night, Liam took Clara to dinner at Romano's, a cozy Italian restaurant in downtown Portland. Clara was as nervous as a teenager on a first date, changing outfits 3 times before settling on a simple blue dress that made her eyes stand out. "You look beautiful," Liam said when he picked her up at the hotel. "Thank you. You look, wow, too." He was wearing a dark dress shirt that made his eyes look even more intense. Clara had to stop herself from staring. The restaurant was perfect. Dim lighting, soft music, and luckily, a private little table in the corner. They talked about everything and nothing, laughing like old friends who just realized they might be something more. "I still can't believe you thought I was gay for months," Liam said as he cut into his pasta. "In my defense, you're very put together, and your fashion sense is better than mine," Clara replied. "That doesn't mean anything. Noah is gay and dresses like a surfer who just rolled off the beach." Okay. It was a quick assumption, but you have to admit it was kind of funny. Funny for you. I spent all day trying to impress a woman who thought I liked men. Clara almost choked on her wine. "You were trying to impress me? Clara, why do you think I kept asking to rehearse? It wasn't just about improving the performance. I thought you were just a perfectionist." "I am. But with you, it was different. I made up any excuse just to be near you." Clara smiled, feeling her heart race, "and I thought I was just being a good teacher." "You were the best teacher, but what you taught me went far beyond acting." They finished dinner, chatting about the show, about future plans, about how quickly everything had changed. When they left the restaurant, Liam stopped Clara on the sidewalk. "Can I kiss you right here on the street, like a normal couple?" "Yes, you can." He pulled her in by the waist and kissed her gently right there in front of the restaurant. It was a sweet kiss, full of promises and possibilities. Clara completely melted. What they didn't know was that Tony Russo, a professional paparazzo, was hiding behind a parked car, recording everything with a long-range camera. "Jackpot," Tony whispered, already imagining how much the gossip blogs would pay for that video. The next morning, Clara woke up to her phone ringing non-stop. It was 6:30 a.m. "Hello?" she answered, half asleep. "Clara, did you see it?" Emily shouted on the other end. "See what, Emily?" "It's 6:30 inches the morning. You two are on every gossip site. The video of you kissing has 20 million views." Clara sat up in bed instantly. "What video?" "Someone filmed you at the restaurant last night. It's all over television, Instagram, TikTok. You're the most talked about couple in America." Clara rushed to her laptop and opened the browser. The first headline that popped up read, "Liam and Clara. True love or a publicity stunt?" Caught in an intimate moment, the video showed them kissing on the sidewalk, and the comments were pouring in. "Finally, I knew they were together. Cutest couple in Hollywood. That chemistry better than any soap opera." Her phone rang again. It was Liam. "Clara, have you seen it?" "I just did." "Oh my God, Liam. We've become a meme. The producers want an urgent meeting." Stephen's freaking out in a good way. An hour later, they were sitting in Stephen Carter's office, who looked like a kid on Christmas morning. "You two are geniuses," Stephen said, waving his hands excitedly. "The buzz you've created is better than any marketing campaign." "Stephen, we didn't create anything," Liam said. "Someone filmed us without permission. What matters is everyone's talking about the show." Pre-orders tripled overnight. Clara and Liam exchanged glances. "So, what does this mean for us?" Clara asked. "It means you're going to give the public what they want. I'm adding a final scene to the series. An epic reconciliation kiss between Lily and Ethan. It'll be the perfect grand finale." Clara went pale. "An added kissing scene." "Yes, and not just any kiss. The most romantic kiss television has ever seen. You two will be amazing." Liam noticed Clara's nervous expression. "Stephen, could you give us a minute?" "Of course, but decide quickly. We film tomorrow." Once Stephen left, Liam turned to Clara. "What's wrong?" I don't know if I can do this, Liam." "Why not?" "Because now it's real. Before, I could pretend. But now, how can I kiss you in front of everyone knowing it's not acting anymore?" Liam smiled, "The same way you always have. With your heart. What if I mess everything up?" "You won't. Trust me." 3 weeks later, the series had ended with massive success. The final kiss scene broke ratings records, and Clara and Liam had officially become America's favorite couple. At the awards event for the show in Los Angeles, they sat in the front row, holding hands. When Manhattan Hearts was announced as Best Drama Series, Stephen walked up to accept the award. "I want to thank the entire amazing team, but especially our stars, Liam and Clara, who brought truth and passion to the screen that, well, you all saw the result." The audience applauded. Then Stephen added, "Actually, Liam has something to say." "Liam?" Clara looked at Liam, confused. He stood up and walked to the stage, taking the microphone from Stephen. "Thank you, Stephen. I do have something really important to say." The room went quiet. Cameras zoomed in on Liam. "When I started this show, I was just an actor doing his job, but I found something much more valuable than any award or recognition." He looked straight at Clara. "Clara Evans, you changed my life completely. You taught me what it means to love for real, not just in a script. And I want everyone to know," Clara's heart skipped a beat, "I love you truly, not like Ethan loves Lily, but like Liam loves Clara, and I hope you feel the same." The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Clara froze for a moment, tears welling in her eyes. Then, without thinking, she got up and ran to the stage. She climbed the stairs 2 at a time, reached Liam, and kissed him deeply right there in front of millions of viewers. When they pulled apart, she grabbed the microphone. "Now this is a real scene," she said, smiling through her tears. The crowd went wild, and Clara and Liam finally stopped pretending. They were officially and openly head over heels in love, and this time, it wasn't for the cameras. 6 months after the award ceremony that changed their lives, Clara was sitting in her new dressing room at the network, looking at the sign on the door. Clara Evans, lead actress. It still didn't feel real. From clumsy assistant to lead actress in less than a year, it felt like something out of a movie. "Knocking on your own door now?" Liam said, showing up in the hallway with 2 coffees. "I still can't believe this is real," Clara replied, taking the coffee. "Sometimes I think I'll wake up and find out it was all just a crazy dream. If it's a dream, I'm sleeping, too." "And don't wake me up," he said, kissing her forehead. Over the past few months, the two of them had found the perfect balance. Liam had grown more mature, less worried about what others thought, and more focused on what really mattered. Clara, in turn, had gained confidence, not just as an actress, but as a woman. They were partners in everything. In work, in life, and in their dreams. "Nervous about today's press conference?" Liam asked. "A little. I never really get used to all those personal questions." "Don't worry. I'll be right there with you." The press conference was to announce the network's new series, City of Dreams. Where Clara would star alongside a veteran Hollywood actor, Liam would be producing and making a special appearance. In the network's auditorium, about 50 journalists waited eagerly. Clara and Liam walked in together, greeted the press, and sat at the main table. "Clara, how does it feel to be the network's new darling?" one journalist asked. "I'm still getting used to it. It's a big responsibility, but I'm truly grateful for the opportunity." "Liam, what's it like working with your girlfriend? Isn't it complicated mixing your personal and professional lives?" "Actually, it's the opposite," Liam replied. "Clara makes me a better professional. She challenges me. She inspires me. Working with someone you love and deeply respect, it can only go well." The questions continued for about 30 minutes. Clara was feeling confident, answering everything naturally, when Liam suddenly stood up. "There's actually something I'd like to say," he announced. Clara looked at him, puzzled. "That wasn't in the script." "Liam," she whispered. "Clara, would you come stand next to me?" "What are you doing?" she asked under her breath, but stood up anyway. "Trust me." Liam took the microphone and turned to Clara, who stood beside him, completely confused. "Clara Evans, 8 months ago, you came into my life as a clumsy assistant who thought I was gay." The audience laughed. Clara blushed. "You taught me that acting isn't about pretending to be someone else. It's about finding the truth inside yourself. And my truth is," Liam got down on one knee. Clara covered her mouth with both hands, realizing what was happening. "My truth is that I want to spend the rest of my life rehearsing with you. Not lines, not scripts, but real life, real moments, real love." He pulled a small box from his pocket. The journalist stood up, snapping photos wildly. "Clara Evans, will you marry me?" Clara was crying and laughing at the same time. The entire room fell silent, waiting for her answer. "You're crazy," she said through her tears. "Completely insane." "So, is that a yes or a no?" "It's obviously a yes, you idiot." Liam slipped the ring onto her finger and stood to kiss her. The crowd erupted in applause and cheers. The photographers went wild. The internet broke all over again. "I love you," Liam whispered in her ear. "I love you too. But next time, give me a little warning before you do something like this. Where's the fun in that?" 3 months later, the Millfield Inn had been transformed into a fairy tale setting. The same hotel where they'd accidentally shared a bed was now hosting the most anticipated wedding in Hollywood. George, the manager who had welcomed them that night, was wearing a rented tux and feeling like the most important man in the world. "Never thought my little hotel would host a celebrity wedding," he said to anyone who'd listen. Clara was in room 237, the same one as before, getting ready with help from her mom and Emily. "I can't believe you're getting married in the same place where you two first slept together," Emily said, adjusting the veil. "This is where I realized I was in love with him," Clara said, looking out the window, "even if I still thought he was gay." "Honey, are you sure he's not gay?" her mom asked for the 10th time. "Mom, for heaven's sake," downstairs in the hotel's makeshift garden, Liam was waiting at the altar, a wooden arch decorated with flowers that George had built with the help of 3 staff members and a YouTube tutorial. Noah, standing beside him as best man, leaned in. "Nervous?" he asked. "Terrified," Liam admitted. "What if she changes her mind? What if she runs? Man, she just spent $50,000 on a dress. She's not going to run." The music started to play. Clara appeared at the entrance to the garden, glowing in the simple yet elegant dress she had chosen. She walked slowly, smiling at the guests, a mix of Hollywood colleagues, family, and hotel staff that George had personally invited. When she reached the altar, Liam was clearly moved. "Hi," he whispered. "Hi," she whispered back. The officiant, a kind older man who had driven 3 hours from Portland, began the ceremony. "We're gathered here today to celebrate the love between Liam and Clara, a couple that proves the best relationships sometimes start with the worst misunderstandings." The guests laughed. "Liam, would you like to say your vows?" Liam took a deep breath. "Clara, when you offered to give me kissing lessons because you thought I was gay, I knew my life was about to change completely. You taught me that love isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about being real. And my truth is that I want to love you, make you laugh, and carry you in my arms whenever you're too stubborn to let me help." Clara was crying. "Clara, your vows." "Liam, you showed me that the best scripts are the ones we don't plan, that sometimes you have to improvise, make mistakes, and start over. And that real love is so much better than anything we can act out. I promise to love you even when you snore, even when you make up weird excuses to kiss me, and especially when you're so sweet that you make me cry on national television." "Does anyone have the rings?" the officiant asked. George stepped forward, holding a little pillow with the rings. "It's an honor," he said, emotional. They exchanged rings, promised to love each other forever, and finally the officiant said the magic words, "Liam, you may kiss your wife." And he did a long, passionate, genuine kiss. The guests applauded. Fireworks went off, arranged by Mia, whom Clara had hired specially, and George shouted, "This is going to be a movie." At the reception, held in the hotel's main hall, decorated with Christmas lights, George kept up all year long. Clara and Liam had their first dance as husband and wife. "Mrs. Carter," Liam said, spinning Clara on the dance floor, still getting used to the name. "You've got the rest of your life to get used to it. And you, Mr. Carter, are you ready for a lifetime of surprises? With you, I'm counting on it." And as they danced, surrounded by friends, family, and hotel staff, Clara thought about how generous life had been to her. From a clumsy assistant who thought she'd fallen for a gay man to a famous actress married to the love of her life. There was no better script than that.